Good evening, everybody. Hi, all. Sorry to cut your conversation short, but it's time that we got going. Thank you so much for all coming out to the Half Gang tonight. It's a pleasure to have so many of you here, and it's a testament to Alan and Michael and their work, and I think the interest that all of us have in what it is that they've spent a lot of time doing, especially given this time of year. I know that most of you, like me, maybe read the subtitle of this book and thought about the dark side of American politics and were floored, having no earthly idea that there was a dark side of American politics. And it was, to me, just it was shocking in every way. But the book is actually really surprising just to the breadth to which it goes, and it is wonderful. We are lucky to have two authors, two long-time journalists who can take us inside of how all this works with such breadth and depth, and be able to weave together a story with two authors talking about the same subject is often not an easy. Absolute pleasure tonight to have a veteran, Alan Huffman, here tonight at the Half King. He's been here many times, and his partner, both in crime and writing, Michael Rejebian. Both are up from Mississippi. I hear we have a big Mississippi crowd tonight. And so anyway, if everybody could please turn off cell phones and things, and be sure to behave yourselves because we are filming tonight. We're happy to welcome C-SPAN back, who's recording the program for BookTV. So do be on your best behavior. And anyway, just like to thank everybody from William Morrow and again Alan and Michael for being here. It is a pleasure to have them here tonight to read from We're With Nobody. Two insiders reveal the dark side of American politics. Welcome.
Thank you, Clay. I've been told that we're supposed to stand fairly still because usually I tend to wander around, and then it'll be easier for the production values if we stay here. Also, I've been told that when we get to the question and answer period, which basically has already begun as far as I'm concerned, because we usually go pretty loose with that. But if you would, when you have a question, give them a second to get over there with the microphone so that it'll be recorded. Thank all of y'all for coming. We're excited about the book, and I was just talking with a friend of mine about how we came to write this book. And on the back it says former journalist, which is not exactly accurate because I'm still a journalist. But I was reading it and thinking, I wonder if we're going to be former opposition researchers after this book comes out, because it's sort of the nature of opposition research that it's under the radar and no one knows about it. And so when we first started talking about doing this book, we thought, can we really do this? I mean, we're kind of like a little bit like detectives, and they don't generally come out into the open, and certainly not public about what they do. But a friend of ours, Shane Dubow, some of you know, it was his idea. He said, this is just fascinating that there's just these two kind of quirky guys just driving around in a rented Hyundai looking for trouble on politicians all over the country, and that this is sort of one of the underpinnings of our political system. And I thought, wow, when you put it that way, it does sound kind of interesting. And I told Michael that he had this idea, and Michael's like, no, there's no way we can write a book about it. We'll never get any opposition research again. I said, well, we don't have to name names. It's just the stories that we've learned about the country and about how politics works really from the inside out. And it would be a good book. And Shane was right. And so we just decided how we could go about doing it was to just tell those stories and not, we have confidentiality issues with our campaigns, and so we're not going to name the names, but really, does that matter? I mean, what are you more interested in, just how this whole system works, or that a certain congressman in Nevada got a DUI in 2002? That's not all that interesting all by itself. Maybe for the moment it is, but really how the system works is what intrigues us. And so we decided to just go back through all of our reports from over the 18 years and look at what were the most interesting races that we worked on, and then just sort of put our heads together. And it's been a long, strange trip doing this for all over the country for those 18 years. And some of the stories are funny, and some of them are serious. You know, sometimes we get in weird situations where, you know, we're outside of the mainstream. You know, we might be working for the campaign, but we're still sort of free agents, and that's really where the title comes from. Two reasons we came up with the title. One is whenever we go into like a courthouse, we start asking for records, and everyone's like, and who are you with? You know, because they're curious about what we're doing, and they're trying to kind of put us on the spot. And so it kind of became a joke between me and Michael that we would just always say, we're with nobody, and just stand there, because that would just disarm them completely, because what are you going to say? You know, you're with nobody, and that's the end of it. But then we realized when we were trying to come up with a title for the book that, in a way, we really are with nobody, because we have to research our own candidates the same way we do their opponents. So, like, if you're running for office, you're going to hire us to find out everything there is to know about your opponent, but we're going to do the same thing to you so that you'll know how you're going to be attacked. So we have to be objective, and in that sense, you know, we are with nobody. So we decided, we just sat down and put our heads together about what were the best books, and we divided the chapters up to see who wanted which one, and that was it. And the way we're going to do this tonight is I'm going to give you these remarks, and Michael's going to have a few things to say, and then he's going to read. We're not going to read a whole lot. I know people come to readings, and they kind of expect you to read, but my feeling has always been that a little reading goes a long way, and more people are interested in asking questions, and actually, you can read the book. We encourage you to buy the book and read the book. And, you know, if you want to just call on the phone and we'll read aloud to you. But right now, it might be good for, you know, the purposes of all of us for you to ask questions. So we'd like to leave as much time as possible for that. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Michael and let him talk a few minutes, and then he's going to do his reading, and then he can give it back to me, and I'll do mine. Is that the way you want to do it?
You can do your reading first, and we'll go back and do mine.
Yours? Well, see, this is the way it always works.
Mine's like, yeah, it's a little different. Yeah,
Okay, Michael would rather I go ahead and read mine, so I will do that. This is
we'll do it after. I'll say, then you do yours, and I'll read mine.
Okay.
This is seriously, this is what happens all the time.
That's why we like it informal. So, okay, so I'm reading now. Where are my glasses?
No, actually, I was going to say a few words, and then you were
right,
going
go
to
ahead.
read, then I was going to read. Honestly, I think he pretty much summed up what we do, but the book really is more than just about opposition research, because when you get into it, you're going to find that it's like an 18-year road trip that I've been on with this guy, and it's taken us to some very strange places. Before I really get going, though, I really want to do a shout-out to everybody who came up here from Jackson. I really appreciate that. My friends over here, back there, I think like 40% of the folks in this room are from Mississippi, so that's great to see. We have been working together for probably longer than just 18 years since we've been doing opposition research, because we were newspaper reporters together at the Clarion Ledger. Robin was there. And so we learned then that we worked really well together, that we could do assignments. Most reporters have fairly large egos. And Alan and I learned that we could go out and cover a story together and not really have much pride of authorship. Now, that's not to say that we don't irritate each other, because when you've worked with someone for 18 years, when you're on the road that long, you're going to get under each other's skin. I probably get under his more than he does mine. But if you read the book about the gum smacking, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But the other reason we wrote this book is because most people didn't even know what we did for a living. And when you read it, I'll take you to the last chapter, the one I wrote. Like Alan said, we wrote in alternating chapters, so he's odd and I'm even. The last chapter, though, starts off with a text message that I had gotten from just on my phone one day, and I was just kind of looking at it.